Okay, so in this video I'm going to be giving a simple guide on how you get medals in World Conqueror 4, the best ways to earn medals, so that you can grow your generals and upgrade perks, and just because they're the main currency in the game, so they're quite important. So let's go look at this. So first things first is we have the campaign. Now you need to make sure that you do the World War II ones all the way up to the Modern War ones. You want to try and get through all them as early as you can. That's how you get the majority of your medals, doing it on the normal difficulty, the hard and the challenge. You'll earn a lot of medals through this, and you'll also end up completing other achievements. But this is probably the easiest way at the start to make medals, so make sure that you complete all of these missions. Now I think the best thing to talk about following on from the campaign missions would be these achievements. Now you can get these through actually just completing a whole section of the campaign. You can also do it complete these achievements through other ways, which I will look at in a minute, but you want to make sure you're constantly checking this section. There's plenty of easy rewards here that you can make, and some of them are quite big, so they're definitely important. So make sure you keep tabs on this and you try and complete your achievements as soon as you can to get the best generals. Now, similar to this achievement section, you can also earn medals through these two different battle passes. They'll both come on the screen. These can be done for a variation of ways. One of them is just doing Conquest, so that you can destroy enemies and stuff like that. It says all of the stuff you're meant to do on the list. So make sure you go and do that. Now this is quite an easy way. You can pay for the upgraded versions if you want. I don't recommend it. You can just not spend money and you still get a lot of medals. But this is definitely one of the easiest ways to earn medals. You're just doing simple tasks. And yeah. Now I would actually say that the most overlooked medal way of getting medals on the game is this whole Domination mode. There is a whole heap of medals available to you here. There is the 1 to 10 things about wipe out the enemy. You can do all them. There's loads of them. There's the exercises which you can do, and you get hundreds of medals for these. You get probably thousands in total. And also in Domination you should definitely get the monuments, as they can help increase medal yields, especially with this next thing, invasions. Now I would definitely recommend doing all the invasions you can every day. It doesn't look like you're gaining many medals, but if you do all of them that you can in a day, in a week, it stacks up and you actually end up gaining hundreds of medals that you didn't even realise you could get. If you don't understand invasion, you just have to go to this top right bit and buy the units first. I used to get confused about that, but yeah, you just buy them, then you place it down, put a general on, and yeah, once you do it you get a couple medals. And if you invest in the Domination mode, you can increase the number of medals you're going to get from these levels, but Domination is definitely a thing to look at. You shouldn't overlook it. It might be one of the least obvious ways, but it definitely has a good yield of medals. Now I'm just going to go into this little segment. I didn't mention it before with the other passes because it's slightly different. This one is purely just to do with Conquest. This one's not as important, as it's a little bit harder for a lot of people to complete the challenge Conquest early on. But make sure that you're doing all of these, as there's a lot of good rewards on here, and not only medals, but there's also elite force pieces, so make sure you're doing these. Now there's one thing that you get more medals from than anything else, and it is events. You need to make sure that every week you're completing all these events. I don't care if you've done them several times before and if they're boring, they always end up giving you so many medals. You'll get thousands every month if you make sure you complete all of these every week. I know that the trials can be boring, but you just have to grind through them. You get so many medals in the end, and just completing all these events is really good for you, especially the long-winded ones like the Barbarossa operations and stuff like that. This is probably where I get most of my medals from, and it should really be where you get most of your medals from. This is the biggest place you can get medals from, and it's always going to be there, so they refresh all the time. Whereas other ones you're going to complete at the campaign, this will always be refreshing and giving you new and more medals. Now in addition to the previous thing I mentioned biographies, but there is actually a specific biography mission. These can bring you in a little bit of medals. They're definitely worth doing, not only for the medals but to improve your general's biographies anyway, but make sure you don't forget about the medals that you can get from these. Another small way of getting medals is by watching adverts. This is what I used to do back in the day when I was broke. I don't do it anymore, but you can get quite a few medals if you watch all the adverts every day. They do actually tally up, so if you're desperate for medals, then make sure you're watching these videos. Now if you want medals quickly, there is a quick way of getting them, and it's by dismissing old generals. A lot of these generals you might not be using, so as you can see here, if you click the dismiss button in the bottom right, then you'll get 80% back of the medals that you spent on them. It can be a good way of getting medals. Sometimes you might regret who you dismissed though, as obviously you're going to lose the general as well, so I don't recommend doing this for any of the top dogs like Guderian. Now if your dismiss button is grey like this, then it's because you're using them in a domination mode where you enter them, so just make sure you go and complete that first and then you can dismiss them afterwards. Now the last way you can get medals, I believe, is just by simply purchasing them. Although you don't really need to do this, it is a quick way of getting them, but if you just spend time doing it, then you'll get as many medals as you can by just paying for them. There's not really any point paying for them, so definitely don't do that, but this is one of the ways you can in fact get medals. Okay, so I appreciate that's a lot of information to take in, so I thought I would just give you this roundup of all the medals you can get. This is the amount you can get monthly on average if you complete every single task, and it's a lot of medals, and it shows that you don't need to spend money. Obviously it's a lot of dedication and grinding, but if you do this for just 1 month, you've got a lot of medals, and you can just fully upgrade at least one general, which is crazy. I think the numbers help to show how important some of these things are. I mean, look at invasions, they bring in a lot more medals than you realise, and obviously the events. But yeah, there's a lot to take in this video, but these are all the ways you can get medals. There's not really a way for me to tell you the fastest way, you just have to do all of these things simultaneously. But I hope the video has helped, and thank you for watching.